I'll end you tonight. The words hit Emma Parker harder than the wind on the bridge. Travis's hand shoved her back. Her spine slammed into the metal rail, and her heel slipped on wet concrete. Behind her, there was only air and the sound of waves crashing far below. "Travis, stop!" she cried. "You're hurting me." "That's the point," he hissed. Whiskey clung to his breath. "You think you can just leave me?" Cars rushed by on the other side, distant and blind. A cold streetlight washed Travis's face in pale light. His eyes were glassy, jaw clenched. Emma tried to push him away. Her fingers were numb from cold and fear. "I told you we're over," she said, voice shaking. "We can talk tomorrow. Just let me go home." He slammed her harder into the rail. Her body rocked over the edge. Her right heel found nothing, and the roar of the ocean rushed up at her. "Travis!" she screamed. He yanked her forward on instinct, then pinned her again. His face was inches from hers. "You're not going anywhere," he spat. "You belong to me. You think I don't see your boxes, your little apartment searches? You leave this city, you leave with me, or you don't leave at all. Say it." She shook her head, tears burning. "No." His hand flew and cracked across her cheek. Her head smashed into the rail. Pain exploded along her face. For a second, all she saw was white. "Say it," he growled. Her vision blurred. Metal dug into her back. "Someone will see us," she whispered. "Stop. Please, we can talk." "Nobody cares," he snapped. "They drive by. They mind their business. You think anyone's stopping for you?" He shook her so hard her teeth hit together. Her nails dug into his wrists, useless. Behind him, a car door shut. Footsteps hit the pavement. Slow, steady. Emma heard them. Travis didn't. "Help!" she screamed, throat tearing. "Please help!" Travis's hand snapped across her face again. Her head whipped sideways. Blood filled her mouth. "I said shut—" An arm hooked around his throat from behind and ripped him away from her. His grip tore off her shoulders. Emma stumbled forward, grabbing the rail to keep from going over. Travis choked, fingers clawing at the arm locked under his jaw. "What the—" The man behind him was taller, broader, dark coat, solid weight. He dragged Travis away from the edge and slammed him into a concrete post. "You like putting your hands on women at the rail?" the stranger asked, voice low. "Get off me." Travis coughed. "You don't know what she did. This is between us." "You're right," the man said calmly. "I don't care what she did." His fist drove into Travis's stomach. Travis folded with a broken sound. Emma flinched. "Stop!" she cried. "Please just stop!" The stranger glanced over. His eyes met hers for a second. They were deep green, too clear for this place. They flicked to her bruised cheek, the rail behind her. "You should step away from the edge," he said. "You're bleeding." Emma shuffled sideways until there was real pavement behind her. Her legs shook badly. Behind her, Travis swung weakly at the stranger's head. The man caught his wrist, twisted, and dropped him face down on the concrete. His knee pinned Travis's back. One more clean punch to the jaw and Travis went limp. Silence rushed in. Wind, engines in the distance. The stranger stood and turned fully toward Emma. He looked like he was in his early 40s. Short dark hair, stubble along a strong jaw. A dark coat that fit broad shoulders. His knuckles were scraped. He stopped an arm's length away and held out his hand. "Can you stand?" he asked. She nodded, then realized she was already on her feet. Her body trembled anyway. He didn't move closer until she put her hand in his. His grip was firm but careful, warm. He guided her away from the rail and put himself between her and the drop. "Thank you," she whispered. I didn't think anyone would stop." He glanced at Travis. "Most people don't want trouble." "And you do?" she asked. "I don't like watching men like him win," he said. Emma looked at Travis. He lay on his side, cheek to the concrete, chest rising and falling. "Is he—" she forced out. "Alive," the man said. "Unfortunately. We should call an ambulance," she said quickly. He hit his head. "He could be—" "You're still worried about him," the stranger said quietly. after he dragged you to a bridge and promised to end you. She bit down hard. He's drunk. He says things he doesn't mean. He meant it tonight, the man replied. Men don't bring you to a rail like that to talk. Cold wind cut through her jacket. Her body started shaking harder. Without a word, he shrugged off his coat and laid it over her shoulders. She clutched it on reflex. It was heavy and warm. You don't have to, she said. I do, he answered. You're freezing. He studied her a moment. Does he have a key to your place? He asked. Emma thought of the spare key on Travis's ring, of waking up to find him in her apartment at 3 a.m. Yes, she whispered. Then you're not going home tonight, the man said. Where am I supposed to go? She asked. With you? I don't even know your name. Right now your choices are simple, he said. You stay here until he wakes up, or you get in my car and you're somewhere he can't reach you for a while. I won't drag you either way. What if you're worse than him? She asked. His eyes met hers again, steady. If I wanted to hurt you, he said, I would have let him finish. The line was blunt and true. Emma looked at Travis one last time. His fingers twitched. He would wake up. Okay, she whispered. Just tonight. Just tonight, the man echoed. He walked with her along the bridge to a black sedan. It was sleek and quiet. He opened the back door. Here. She slid in, still wrapped in his coat. The leather seat was cold. He got into the front, started the engine, and pulled away. City lights slid past her window. Emma watched her reflection. Pale skin, swollen cheek, coat too big on her. Where are we going? She asked. Somewhere he can't find you, the man said. And where the people he answers to won't look yet. The people he answers to, she repeated. He works in logistics, warehouses. That's it. He moves things at night for men who don't want to be seen, the stranger said. He's not the top of anything. Her stomach twisted. You know who he works for? Yes, he said. And you? She asked. Who are you? He looked at her in the mirror. Their eyes met. Leo, he said. Leo Conti. The name sank fast. She had heard it. At the bookstore. On the news in half sentences. Conti's side of town. You don't get in his way. You're him, she said quietly. Yes, Leo said. You're a mafia boss, she whispered. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Her fingers tightened around the coat. You still stopped, she said. You didn't have to. No, he agreed. I didn't. Why? She asked. He drove in silence for a few seconds. I saw him grab you 2 weeks ago, Leo said. Outside that shop. He pulled you down the sidewalk when you were trying to talk. You looked scared. I told myself you'd leave him before he got worse. I was wrong. You saw us? She asked. Yes. And you just walked away. I had other problems that night, he said. I decided you weren't mine to fix. That was a mistake. The honesty stunned her. The car climbed into richer streets. Glass towers rose on both sides. Leo turned into a private garage below one of the tallest. Her pulse jumped. This is yours? One of them, he said. He parked, came around, and opened her door. You can still change your mind, he said. If you want to disappear by yourself, I'll call you a cab and give you cash. I won't follow. And then, she asked, he finds me later? Most likely, Leo said. There was no comfort in his tone, only truth. She stepped out of the car. They took a private elevator up. Leo swiped a card and hit the top button. Are you going to the police? She asked suddenly. No, Leo said. Why not? She demanded. Because the men above him have money and lawyers, he said. They'll twist your story and walk. Then they'll be angrier. This isn't how they get stopped. The elevator doors opened. The penthouse was large and bright, windows wrapped around the room, showing the city in lights. A gray sofa, a kitchen with clean counters, no clutter. Emma stepped out slowly, feeling out of place. You live here alone? She asked. Yes, Leo said. He checked a small screen by the wall, security feeds. then turned back to her. "Bathroom's down that hall," he said. "Guest room first door on the right. Kitchen's there. Sit." She sank onto the edge of the sofa. Her body still wouldn't relax. "I shouldn't be here," she whispered. "You shouldn't have been on that bridge either," Leo said. "But you were. Now this is where you are." He poured her water, brought it over, and crouched in front of her. "Drink," he said. She took the glass, fingers brushing his. She drank. The water helped steady her. "Thank you," she murmured. "You're welcome." He watched her for a moment. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now you try to sleep," he said. "Tomorrow we talk about Travis, about who he works for, about how far this reaches." "I work in a bookstore," she said. "I pay my rent late, that's all. Why would anyone else care about me?" "Travis doesn't attach himself to people for fun," Leo said. "He looks for what they connect to. Family, jobs, names on paper. We'll go through it in the morning." Her stomach turned. "Am I in danger because of him?" "Yes," Leo said. "Tonight you were. I'm not letting that happen again." "You don't even know me," she whispered. "I know enough," he said. "I know you tried to worry about his head after he almost threw you over a rail. That tells me more than most files do." Her eyes stung. He stood, nodded toward the hallway. "There are clothes in the guest room closet," he said. "They'll be big but clean. Lock your door from the inside. No one touches it but you." "You're not going to—" She hated the shake in her voice. "I mean, you're not expecting anything because I'm here." His jaw tightened. "No, Emma, I'm not." He said it like it offended him she even had to ask. "I'm not Travis," he added. "I don't hit women. I don't take what isn't offered. You're here because you ran out of better options, not because you owe me anything." Relief made her knees weak. "Okay," she said softly. She rose. The coat slid down her arms. She pulled it tighter. At the hallway, she looked back. Leo stood near the windows, city lights outlining his frame, hands in his pockets, shoulders tense like they carried weight she couldn't see. "Leo," she said quietly. He turned his head. "Thank you," she said, "for stopping the car, for everything." His eyes held hers. "Get some sleep, Emma," he said. "Tomorrow we start making sure he never gets within arm's length of you again." She nodded and went into the guest room. She locked the door, sat on the bed, and pressed her fingers lightly to her sore cheek. The bruise throbbed. Travis's voice echoed in her skull. "I'll end you tonight." Leo's voice cut across it. "I'm not letting that happen again." On the other side of the wall, Leo stood at the windows, looking down at the city he partly controlled and the dark strip of ocean beyond it. He thought of Travis, unconscious on the bridge, of the men above him, of a name he already knew too well, Victor Kane. He thought of Emma Parker, in his guest room, wearing his coat, still apologizing for worrying about her own life. He had walked away once when he saw Travis's hand on her arm. He wouldn't walk away again. Tomorrow this would turn into business. Routes, names, files. Tomorrow he would start cutting Travis and his boss out of anything that could reach her. Tonight he let one clear line take shape in his mind. If anyone tried to use Emma Parker to test him, Leo Conti would show them exactly how dangerous caring about someone could be. Emma barely slept. Even with the guest room door locked and Leo's coat wrapped around her like armor, every shadow made her flinch. Every creak of the penthouse sounded like Travis climbing stairs he shouldn't have access to. When she finally drifted off, it was only for a few minutes at a time. She woke to imaginary footsteps, to her own heartbeat, to the echo of his voice on the bridge. "I'll end you." At some point, exhaustion finally won. When she opened her eyes again, pale morning light softened the room. For a moment she forgot where she was. Then she saw the tall windows, the quiet, the two soft sheets. Leo Conti's penthouse. She sat up fast. Her cheek ached, her head throbbed. Her throat felt tight, like she hadn't spoken in days. She freshened up in the bathroom, splashing cold water on her face, then stepped out into the hallway, slowly, carefully, like someone entering a stranger's house in the middle of the night. The living room was empty, but Leo was in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, cooking eggs like he wasn't a man whose name people whispered. She stopped at the edge of the counter. "You cook?" she asked. Leo glanced over. "Not well, but it's food." She didn't move. Her eyes flicked to the door. "Travis, he won't come here, right?" "No," Leo said. "He won't get past the lobby. Even if he did, he won't step out of bed for a couple of hours. I hit him harder than he realizes." Emma looked down at her hands. "I should go to the police." "Eventually," Leo said, "but not while you're alone, and not until we know how far this reaches." "What does that mean?" she asked. Leo slid the eggs onto a plate and set it in front of her. "Travis didn't just find you," Leo said. "He was told to get close." Emma blinked. "By who?" Leo leaned on the opposite side of the counter. "There's a man named Victor Kane," he said. "You don't need to know everything about him except this. He likes to use people the same way Travis does. Just smarter." His voice hardened. "And Travis answers to him." Emma picked at her eggs, appetite gone. "Why me?" Leo hesitated. "Because of your father," he finally said. Emma's heart sank. "My dad? He was an accountant. He filed taxes for small businesses. He barely made rent." "Yes," Leo said. "And one of those small businesses was a shell company Kane used." Quietly. "Your dad flagged something he shouldn't have. Maybe he didn't know who he was crossing. Maybe he did. Doesn't matter. Kane lost money. A lot of it." She stared at him. "My dad died of a heart attack." "Maybe," Leo said. "Maybe not. I don't guess when it comes to Kane." Emma felt the room tilt. "So, Travis pretended to be my boyfriend because of that? Because of something my dad touched?" "No," Leo said. "Travis doesn't have that much brain power. Kane used him. People like Travis want to feel important. Kane gives them scraps and tells them it's a crown." Emma's fork trembled. "He could come after me again," she whispered. "Yes," Leo said, "which is why you're not staying here." Emma froze. "You're sending me away." "No," he said. "I'm moving you somewhere safe. Somewhere nobody knows. Somewhere only 3 people in the world have the address for." "Why not here?" she asked. "Because men like Kane know this building," Leo said simply. "They've tried to hit me before. You weren't involved then. I'm not giving them a second chance." Emma looked at him, fear tightening her chest. "Is this my life now? Running because of something I didn't even do?" "It won't stay like this," Leo said. "But until I know how many names your father touched, what he wrote down, and what Travis told Kane, I'm not letting you walk into an apartment he has a key to." She rubbed her eyes, exhaustion crashing down again. "I can't believe this is real." "I know," Leo said quietly. "Eat. Then we move." They left through a private garage exit. Leo drove this time. Emma kept checking the mirrors, convinced she'd see Travis behind them, or someone worse. Leo noticed. "Nobody's following us," he said. "How can you be sure?" she asked. "Because I spent half my life being followed," he said. "I know the signs." They drove past apartment buildings, old brick warehouses, a riverfront lined with cold winter sunlight. Eventually, Leo pulled up beside a row of narrow brownstones on a quiet street. Nothing fancy, nothing suspicious, just normal. Emma frowned. "This doesn't look like a safe house." "That's the point," Leo said. He led her inside a side entrance and down a hallway to an apartment door. He unlocked it with a code she didn't see. Inside was a clean, modest loft, warm light, soft gray walls, a couch, a kitchen, a small bedroom. "I use this place when I need quiet meetings," Leo said, "and when I don't want my movements tracked." Emma stepped inside slowly. "So, I stay here?" "For now," Leo said. "Until I can clean up the mess Travis created." A knock sounded at the door. Emma jumped. "It's Marcus," Leo said. He opened the door to reveal a tall man with a shaved head and a serious face. "Boss," Marcus greeted. Then he looked at Emma and softened slightly. You okay? She nodded. Good, Marcus said, because your boyfriend's people started asking questions last night. Emma stiffened. Travis? No, Marcus said. Kane's men. Emma felt the blood drain from her face. Leo spoke first. How many? A few, Marcus said. They were asking for her address, acting like they had a right to it. Emma's breath stuttered. Leo's jaw tightened. They won't get it, Leo said. But it means Kane's getting impatient. And ambitious, Marcus added. He thinks you're distracted. Leo scoffed. I'm not distracted. I'm pissed. Marcus looked at Emma again. You're safer here than at the penthouse. Travis won't find you, and Kane's men don't know this place exists. Emma swallowed. What do we do next? Leo looked at Marcus. We start digging. Marcus nodded. Already pulled the files. Her dad left a trail he didn't mean to leave. Emma frowned. Files? My dad's things are in my apartment. Were, Marcus corrected. We picked up what we could before Kane's guys checked the building. Nothing left in there now. Emma sank onto the couch. I didn't even know anything was wrong. My dad, he never told me anything. Because he thought he fixed it, Leo said. But sometimes cleaning up someone else's mess creates a bigger one. Emma looked up. Leo, will I ever go back to my life? His eyes softened, just barely. Not the life you had, but you'll have a better one. How? She asked. Because I'm not letting Kane touch you, he said. Not again, not ever. Her chest tightened at the certainty in his voice. Marcus cleared his throat. Boss, I need you for a minute. Something about the shell companies. Leo nodded. To Emma, he said, Stay here. Lock the door. I'll be 5 minutes. Emma nodded and watched them step into the hall. 5 minutes turned into 10. The quiet apartment pressed in on her. She walked to the window overlooking the alley, pulling the curtains aside just enough to peek. A dark van slowly rolled past the end of the block. Not unusual, but it felt wrong. Her stomach tightened. She backed away, heart pounding. She checked the front door's lock. Secure. She checked the bedroom window. Locked. She paced. She tried to convince herself it was nothing. She failed. After a few minutes, the door handle clicked. Her breath caught. Emma, Marcus called from the hall. It's me. She froze. Leo had told her something that morning. Don't open the door unless I tell you first. Her hand hovered over the lock. Emma, Marcus repeated, I just need to grab your phone. Leo wants to wipe it. Her heart thudded painfully. She needed to be sure. What color was the sweater you brought me this morning? She asked through the door. A pause, then, gray. Her breath shakily released. Okay, she whispered. She reached for the lock, and then she heard it. A voice far in the background. Outside. Down the hall. She wasn't sure. Marcus, you coming or what? Marcus was downstairs. Her stomach dropped. Her hand shot away from the lock. The man outside spoke again, voice darkening. Emma, open the door. We don't want to break it. Her pulse pounded in her ears. They found her. Leo wasn't here. Marcus wasn't here. She backed away slowly. The doorknob rattled. Don't be stupid, the man said. You open it, nobody gets hurt. She scanned the room frantically. No weapon. No escape. Except the back service door Leo had pointed out. Only use it if you have no other choice. This was no other choice. She grabbed a heavy vase from the counter, holding it with trembling hands. She ran to the back hall, forced the lock, and slipped into the narrow service corridor. She pulled the door shut behind her. Footsteps thundered on the other side of the apartment. Voices. Her heart raced so fast she thought she might pass out. She ran toward the stairwell and slammed directly into a man waiting in the shadows. He caught her before she could scream. Well, he said, tightening his grip. That was easy. Emma kicked, twisted, clawed, but another man grabbed her from behind. A cloth pressed over her mouth. Chemicals burned her lungs. Her vision dimmed. Her last thought before darkness swallowed her whole was Leo's voice. I'm not letting that happen again. But he wasn't here, not this time. Emma woke with her cheek against something cold. A slow, rhythmic drip echoed somewhere above her. At first, she thought she had fallen asleep sitting upright. Then she tried to move her arms. They didn't move. Her wrists were cuffed behind a metal chair. Rope pinned her waist to the backrest. Her ankles were tied to the legs. A warehouse. Concrete floor. High windows. Old machinery pushed against the wall. Fear surged through her chest. She forced her eyes to focus and froze. Travis stood a few feet away. He looked rougher than before. Bruised jaw, bloodshot eyes, split lip. But his smirk was the same. "Morning," he said. "You gave us trouble." Emma's throat tightened. "Travis, let me go. Please." Still polite. He muttered, stepping closer. "You shouldn't have left me. You made me look like a joke." "You almost killed me," she whispered. "That's because you don't listen," he snapped. "But it doesn't matter. I did what Kane wanted. I got close. I watched. I learned what you had." Emma's blood ran cold. "Kane?" Before Travis could answer, the metal door screeched open. 3 men walked in. 2 were guards. The third was calm. Too calm. He moved with quiet confidence, like the room belonged to him. Victor Kane. Emma's breath caught. He stopped in front of her, studying her like she was an object. "So," Kane said, "you're Emma Parker." Her stomach twisted. "Why am I here?" "For something your father stole," Kane replied. "A number trail. A missing file. Money that slipped through my hands because your dad grew a conscience." Emma shook her head. "My dad didn't steal anything." "No," Kane said. "But he refused to sign a transfer. It froze one of my accounts. I lost a fortune." Emma felt sick. "He never told me any of this," she said. "Of course not," Kane said. "Honest men think they're invincible until they aren't. Your father died at the wrong time, and now you have all his things." Emma blinked. "What things?" "The box you keep under your bed," Travis said. "The papers, the notes. I saw them." She stared at him, stunned. "You were watching me go through my father's things?" "You never asked where I was?" he said with a shrug. Kane snapped his fingers. "Enough." He pulled a phone from his pocket. "You have something I want," Kane said. "And someone else wants you back." He dialed. Emma's heart slammed. "Don't..." Kane hit speaker. 2 rings. Then, "Yeah." Leo's voice. Emma's breath hitched. "Leo." A beat of silence on the line. "Emma?" Leo's voice sharpened. "Are you hurt?" "She's fine," Kane said. "For now." "Kane," Leo growled. "If you touch, you're in no position to threaten me." Kane interrupted. "You took something from my side. I'm taking it back." "What do you want?" Leo asked coldly. "The files your little accountant hid," Kane said. "Every sheet, every drive. You bring them to me. Alone." "And if I don't?" Leo asked. Kane stepped closer to Emma, fingers brushing her hair back. "Then she's gone." Emma jerked away, disgust twisting in her stomach. Leo's voice came sharp through the phone. "Kane, I swear." "You'll bring the files," Kane repeated. "And you'll walk into my building without your men. You see her alive first. Then we trade." "I see her walking," Leo said. "Or nothing happens." Kane smirked. "We'll see." He hung up. Emma's pulse hammered. "He's coming," she whispered. "Of course," Kane said. "He cares about you more than he should." He nodded to his men. "Tighten the rope. No marks on the face. I want her presentable." A guard tightened the rope until Emma gasped. Kane watched with mild interest. "You should relax," he said. "If he brings me what I want, you go home." "And if he doesn't?" she asked. Kane smiled. "Then you won't be around to worry about it." He left. Travis lingered. "You could have had a simple life with me," he said. "But no, you wanted to act better. Now look at you." Emma stared at him with open hatred. "I feel sorry for you. That's all I ever felt." His jaw twitched. "Boss said no marks," the guard warned. Travis spat on the floor and left. Emma's chest tightened. She shifted against the rope. No give. The cuffs cut into her skin. Her throat felt raw. She tried to steady her breathing. Leo is coming. He'll walk straight into danger for me. A tear slid down her cheek. Across the city, Leo Conti wasn't pacing. He was silent, still, dangerous. He stood in the safe house, staring at the shattered vase Emma had used to fight. Marcus stood beside him, tense. They grabbed her right after we stepped out, Marcus said. They were watching the building. Leo's jaw flexed. Someone tipped them. We'll trace it, Marcus said. But we have a bigger problem. Noah entered with a tablet. We pulled some traffic cam footage. A dark van headed toward the east docks. It matches Kane's routes. Leo grabbed his coat. Then we go. We need a plan, Marcus said. Kane won't hand her over unless he thinks he's winning. Leo picked up a sealed case containing Emma's father's files. Good, Leo said. I want him to think that. Marcus frowned. You're bringing the evidence? Not for him, Leo said. For the detectives. Both men stared. You're calling the cops? Noah said. I'm giving them Kane, Leo said. He crossed a line I won't forgive. Marcus breathed out slowly. You're playing your biggest card. Yes, Leo said. Because he touched the wrong woman. He stepped toward the door. Tonight we end this. Back in the warehouse, time stretched painfully. Emma tried to keep herself awake, aware, steady. Her head throbbed from the injection. Her wrists had gone numb. Footsteps approached. Victor Kane walked back in, phone in hand. He's close, Kane said. He'll walk right in because he thinks he can bluff me. He's not bluffing, Emma forced out. He'll kill you for taking me. Kane smirked. Let him try. He leaned down, eyes cold. You have no idea what men like Leo Conti become when they care. It makes them stupid. He saved me, she said. He claimed you, Kane corrected, and now he's going to walk into a place where he can't win. Emma shook her head. You underestimate him. Kane chuckled. No, Emma. You don't understand the game you're in. He stood. Enjoy the show. He left her alone again. Emma closed her eyes and whispered, Leo, please don't die because of me. The door opened once more. 2 guards stepped in. Move her to the center, one said. They dragged the chair under a single hanging light. The rest of the warehouse remained dark. Emma's breathing hitched. One guard tested the cuffs again. She'll stay, he said. A low creak echoed through the space. The front doors. They opened slowly. Bootsteps entered. Steady. Controlled. Leo Conti walked into the warehouse. Emma's breath caught. He looked calm, but his eyes cut through the room like knives, landing on her immediately. Her heart surged. Kane stepped out of the shadows across from him. Conti, Kane greeted. Welcome. Leo didn't look at Kane. Not at first. He walked forward until he stood about 30 feet from Emma, never breaking eye contact with her. Only then did he turn his head. You wanted to talk, Leo said. Talk. Emma felt her pulse in every inch of her body. 2 worlds, Leo's and Kane's, were about to collide in the middle of a cold warehouse. Because of her. Leo walked into the warehouse like he wasn't surrounded by armed men. Emma felt relief hit her so hard her knees almost buckled if she hadn't been tied to the chair. He was here. He came. Leo stopped under the dim lights, close enough for her to feel his presence even across the room. He didn't smile, didn't soften. He just looked at her long enough for her to know one thing clearly. I found you. Then he shifted his attention to Victor Kane. Kane stepped forward slowly, hands in his pockets, casual like this was a business meeting. Conti, Kane said, you're punctual. I don't like waiting, Leo replied. The warehouse felt colder. Kane gestured around them. You want her? I want my money trail. Seems simple. Leo didn't move. I'm here. I brought what you asked for. Kane's eyebrows lifted. All of it. Leo held up the slim metal case. Everything she had. Emma's heart clenched. She knew Leo wasn't handing Kane the real information, not without an angle. She prayed Kane didn't see it. Kane nodded toward one of his men. Search it. Leo didn't blink. You open that case before she walks. This deal is over. Kane smirked. You're making demands? Brave. You asked for me, Leo said, so now you deal with me. That line made Kane's jaw tense. He circled around Leo like he was studying an animal behind glass. You've caused me trouble for years, Kane said. I could have crushed you a long time ago, but you kept to your side. You didn't interfere with my money. You didn't touch the wrong people, Leo said flatly. Kane stopped walking. And then she happened, Kane murmured. Emma held her breath. Kane looked between them, amused. Look at you, a man like Leo Conti, bending for a girl who didn't even know your world existed 2 weeks ago. Leo's voice dropped low. Say her name. Kane blinked. Excuse me? You want to talk about her? Leo said. Say her name. A tense silence. Kane scoffed. Fine. Emma. She matters to you. Enough to risk everything. Leo didn't deny it. Kane's tone shifted. So here's what happens. You hand me the files your accountant hid. I verify them. And if they're real, you get her. Leo crossed his arms. You release her first. Kane chuckled. No. Emma's pulse raced. Leo didn't raise his voice. She walks. Now. Or you lose everything I brought. Kane leaned closer. Do you think you can threaten me in my own building? I'm not threatening you, Leo said. I'm telling you the only version of this you survive. The room went still. The guard nearest Emma adjusted his stance, uneasy. Kane finally sighed. Fine. A gesture of trust. He motioned to Travis. Untie her waist, Kane ordered, but keep her cuffed. Travis hesitated, shooting Emma a hateful glare. But he obeyed, pulling the rope loose from her waist. The relief was small, but she could breathe deeper again. Happy? Kane asked. No, Leo said. But it's a start. Emma swallowed hard. Leo didn't look away from Kane. Not for a second. Kane snapped his fingers, and one of his men took the case from Leo, but Leo held on just long enough to force the guard to pull it from his hand. A power message. Kane stepped back. Now we verify. No, Leo said immediately. You verify after she's walking. Kane was losing patience. Conti, you're forgetting the position you're in. Leo stepped closer, voice low enough that only Kane and Emma heard. You touch her again and I burn your city with you inside it. Kane stiffened. Emma felt her breath catch. Her heart pounded, not out of fear this time, but something hotter, sharper. Kane laughed once, humorless. You love her. Emma froze. Leo didn't answer. He didn't have to. Kane shook his head. This will make you stupid. It makes me dangerous, Leo said. Kane eyed him carefully, then waved his men away. Bring her forward, Kane ordered. 2 guards grabbed Emma's chair and dragged it 10 feet closer to Leo, close enough for her to see the tension in Leo's jaw. Stop, Leo said sharply. The guards froze. Emma tried to stand, but her ankles were still tied, and her wrists were cuffed behind her. She stumbled, and one of the guards caught her arm roughly. That was the final mistake. Leo moved. He didn't sprint. He didn't yell. He simply crossed the space in 3 lethal strides and grabbed the guard's wrist. A crack echoed. The guard screamed and dropped to his knees. Kane's men pulled their weapons instantly. Stop! Kane shouted. Leo didn't even look at him. Don't touch her, Leo said, voice low and deadly. The room froze. Kane raised a hand for his men to lower their guns. Emma stood still, shaking, as Leo took her by the upper arms, gentle compared to everything around her, and steadied her. You okay? He murmured. She nodded, blinking fast. Yes, just get me out of here. I will, he said, with absolute certainty. He turned to Kane again. Her cuffs come off, Leo demanded. No, Kane said. Leo's jaw tightened. Then the deal stops here. Kane studied him with a calculating stare. She stays cuffed until I see what's in the case. Leo didn't move. He didn't blink. You're stalling, he said quietly. Because you're afraid. Kane's mouth twitched. Of you? Yes, Leo said. of exactly what I'll do if you make the wrong call. Kane snapped his fingers again. Reluctantly, the guard behind Emma unlocked the cuffs from her wrists. Emma gasped when sensation rushed back into her hands. Leo stepped between Emma and Kane's men, blocking their view of her, a silent territorial line drawn in the middle of the warehouse. Kane's voice cut through the tension. "Open the case." One of his men knelt and unlatched the metal case on a table. Kane approached it slowly. Leo stood still, but Emma saw his shoulders tighten. The guard flipped the case open. Papers, files, the ones Leo had taken from her father's box. Kane scanned the top page, then another. He frowned deeper with each sheet. Finally, he looked up at Leo. "This is only half," Kane said. "No," Leo answered calmly. "It's exactly what you asked for." Kane's eyes hardened. "You're lying." "You're stalling," Leo repeated. Something cracked in Kane's expression. Fear, anger, realization. "You brought the cops," Kane whispered. Emma's breath hitched. Leo said nothing. Kane stepped back, eyes darting toward the high windows. "You brought the cops," he roared. Guns lifted toward Leo. Emma screamed. Leo grabbed her and pulled her behind him, just as bright flashes lit up the windows. "Police, don't move!" Sirens blared outside. Kane cursed and backed away. Travis panicked, grabbing a gun from the nearest guard and lunging for Emma, screaming, "She's not leaving with him!" Leo shoved Emma down behind a crate just as Travis fired blindly. A bullet tore into the concrete inches above Emma's head. Leo charged. He slammed into Travis with the force of a car. The gun skittered across the floor. Leo pinned him and hit him once, twice, until Travis went limp, unconscious. "Leo!" Emma cried. He turned instantly. "You hurt?" he asked. She shook her head, trembling. "No, I'm okay." Kane fired toward the windows and ran for the back exit. His men tried to follow, but officers were already breaching the building. Leo grabbed Emma's hand, pulling her to her feet. "We're leaving," he said. "But," she tried, pointing to the chaos. "No," Leo said. "You walk out with me. Now." He guided her quickly across the warehouse, weaving between crates and old machines as officers flooded in through both sides. When they reached the entrance, a detective shouted, "Conti, don't move!" Leo raised his hand slowly, but kept Emma behind him. "She's the victim," he said. "She walks out first." Emma clung to his sleeve, heart pounding. The detective lowered his weapon a fraction. "Ma'am, are you hurt?" "I'm fine," she whispered. "He saved me." Leo's jaw flexed at her words. Officers swarmed Travis, Kane's men, and the building, shouting commands. Kane was nowhere visible. He had escaped. Leo looked at Emma, scanning her face, her bruised cheek, her wrists. "It's over," he told her quietly. She shook her head, tears building. "No. You're... I'm not going anywhere," he said firmly. Police closed in around them. Emma didn't feel safe because the police were here. She felt safe because Leo was holding her hand. After the first wave of shouting, everything became noise. "Hands where we can see them. Get on the ground. Don't move." Emma stood in the middle of it, numb and shaky, Leo's hand still wrapped around hers, until two officers pulled him away. "Ma'am, you need to step back," one of them said, guiding her aside. Her legs barely worked. The warehouse lights seemed too bright. Her ears rang from the gunshot Travis had fired. "Sit," someone said, and a crate appeared behind her. She sank onto it because there was nothing else to do. She watched Leo. Two officers had him by the arms, guns still drawn, but Leo didn't fight. His face was unreadable again, the way it had been the first night she saw him, all control and tension. He kept his gaze on her, though, even as they pulled his hands behind his back and cuffed him. "Leo," she whispered. He gave her one small nod, a silent, "I'm here," even as they locked metal around his wrists. A detective pushed through the chaos. Late 40s, tired eyes, cheap coat. He looked like he'd seen every version of this room before and hated all of them. "Conti," the detective said. "Never thought I'd see you call us to the party." "You're welcome," Leo replied calmly. The detective snorted, then glanced at Emma. "Emma Parker?" he asked. She nodded. Yes? You hurt? He asked, eyes scanning her face, wrists, legs. I'm okay, she said automatically. Leo spoke up. She was drugged and tied to a chair. Get her checked. The detective looked between them, then signaled to an EMT lingering near the entrance. Take her to the ambulance, he said. Full check. We'll need her statement afterward. Emma grabbed onto Leo's name in her throat before they could move her. What about him? She asked, looking at the cuffs. The detective's jaw tightened. He has questions to answer. He saved my life, she said, voice sharp for the first time. Twice. The detective's eyes softened just a little. That's going in your statement, then. 2 EMTs helped her stand. Her legs wobbled and the room tilted. Easy, one murmured. We've got you. As they led her past Leo, she twisted to keep him in sight. He stepped in closer to her path, as far as the cuffs allowed. You're going with them, he said quietly. You're going with them, she whispered back. I'll be fine, he said. She frowned. You don't know that. Yes, he said. I do. I planned this. She stared at him. You planned being arrested? I planned Kane going down, Leo said. Sometimes that comes with accessories. The line was so dry she almost laughed. Almost. One of the EMTs tugged gently. We need to go, ma'am. Emma swallowed hard. I'll see you. Leo didn't look away. You will. They pulled her toward the door. Just before she crossed the threshold, she heard the detective again. Conti, you and I are going to have a very long conversation about this folder. Leo's answer faded as the heavy doors swung shut behind her. The ambulance smelled like antiseptic and plastic. Emma sat on the narrow bench while an EMT shined a light in her eyes, checked her blood pressure, and wrapped a cuff around her bruised wrist. What did they give you? He asked. I don't know, she said. Something on a cloth. It smelled sharp. Probably a sedative, he muttered. You're lucky they didn't overdo it. Lucky. Her brain caught on the word. She didn't feel lucky. She felt like the world had been tilted and someone had forgotten to tell her. The EMT cleaned the cut on her palm where glass from the warehouse floor had grazed her. You might feel sick or dizzy or emotional later, he said. Shock does weird things. Too late, she thought. At the hospital, everything blurred. Bright lights, white walls, the beep of machines Emma didn't belong near. They checked her reflexes. They scanned her head. They took blood. They asked if she'd been assaulted, if anyone had touched her beyond restraints. She said no, and the relief on the nurse's face almost made her cry again. You're bruised, the nurse said gently, fingers brushing the swelling on Emma's cheek. But you're going to be okay. Physically. The rest was another story. Hours later, she sat in a small room off the ER with a blanket around her shoulders and a cup of water in her hands. The detective from the warehouse walked in, a notebook tucked under his arm. Miss Parker, he said, taking the chair opposite her. I'm Detective Sloan. She nodded. He watched her for a moment like he was measuring how much she could handle. I know you've been through a lot tonight, he said, but this is fresh. We need your account while it's clear in your head. Do you feel up to that? Yes, she said. Her voice sounded small even to her. Okay, Sloan said. Let's start simple. How do you know Leo Conti? She hesitated. He saved me 2 nights ago, on the bridge. His pen paused over the paper. Tell me. She told him about Travis, the threat, the rail, the shove, the feel of nothing under her foot. About Leo pulling Travis off her, about the penthouse, about the safe house. She left out a few details, like the way Leo's coat had felt around her shoulders, the way his voice had calmed her. Those belonged to her, not to a report. Sloan let her talk, only jumping in when she skipped over something important. Travis is the boyfriend who tried to throw you over? He clarified. Ex, Emma said. I told him it was over. He didn't accept it. Did you know he worked for Victor Kane? Sloan asked. No, she said. I thought he worked nights loading trucks. He said it was logistics. Sloane snorted. That's one word for it. She went on, about her father, the files, the box. About Leo showing her that her dad's honest job had brushed up against something uglier. When she got to the kidnapping, her voice shook, but she didn't stop. The fake Marcus, the voice at the door, the narrow hallway, the cloth over her mouth. Sloane's jaw tightened at that part. And then the warehouse? He asked quietly. She nodded. I woke up tied to the chair. Travis was there. And then... Kane. Kane talked to you? Sloane asked, suddenly sharper. Yes, she said. He knows everything. About my father, about Leo, about the files. He said my dad blocked a transfer that cost him money. He thinks my father hid something from him. Sloane scribbled fast. He said, Emma went on, that I have what my father left, and that Leo would bring it to him because he cares about me. Sloane's eyes flicked up. Do you believe that? That he cares? Emma asked. Yes, Sloane said. She didn't look away. Yes, she said simply. Sloane watched her for a second longer, then nodded once, like that confirmed something he already suspected. And on the call with Kane, he said, You heard Leo agree to bring the files? Yes, she said, but he made him promise I'd be alive and walking first. Did he say anything about the police? Sloane asked. No, she said honestly. He didn't tell me anything. Sloane's mouth twisted. He didn't tell me much either, not directly. But he gave us something we've been chasing for a long time. The folder, Emma said. The folder, Sloane agreed. Your father's work, plus some things Leo apparently added on his own. Enough to put Kane's operation under a microscope. Enough that federal agencies suddenly want to buy me dinner. He shut the notebook. Ms. Parker, he said more gently, Leo Conti is not a good man in the simple sense. He's done things the law cares about. Things a jury would care about. I know, Emma said. But tonight, Sloane continued, he walked into a trap with an evidence case he could have used to keep himself powerful and gave us a shot at Victor Kane instead. He leaned back. Men like him don't do that for no reason, Sloane said. They do it because someone changed the math. Emma's throat tightened. Is he under arrest? She asked. Yes, Sloane said. But it's not that simple. The feds want to talk. The DA wants to talk. Some people want to throw the book at him. Others want to use him to bury Kane. And what do you want? She asked quietly. I want Kane in handcuffs, Sloane said. And I want you not dead on a floor somewhere. Leo helped with both those things tonight. That matters, even if it doesn't erase everything else. Her chest felt tight again. Can I see him? Not tonight, Sloane said. He's in holding. Lawyers are circling. We need to let that play out a bit before you get pulled into the middle of it. Pulled into it how? She asked. You're a witness, Sloane said. To Travis, to Kane, to the kidnapping, to what happened at the warehouse, and whether you like it or not, you're now connected to the man who gave us the files. Emma gripped the blanket harder. What does that mean for me? It means, Sloane said, we're not letting you go back to your old apartment or that safe house you were in. Kane still has people. Some of them will end up in a cell. Some won't. So I run again, Emma said softly. For a while, Sloane replied. We can set you up with temporary housing, a new address, support. You won't be alone in this. But your old life, the exact version, that's gone. A lump formed in her throat. Because of my dad. Because of Kane, Sloane corrected. Your dad tried to do the right thing. He just picked the wrong name to stand up to. He closed the notebook and stood. Get some rest, he said. A social worker will be by in the morning. We'll talk about next steps then. He paused at the door. And Ms. Parker, she looked up. You're allowed to grieve the normal life you lost, he said. Just remember you didn't choose any of this. Men like Kane did. Men like Travis helped. Don't carry their guilt. He left. Emma stared at the empty doorway for a long time. Don't carry their guilt. Her fingers still felt the echo of the gun she hadn't fired at Travis. She could still see Leo's hands in cuffs. She lay back on the thin hospital pillow and closed her eyes. She didn't sleep. 2 days later, she sat at a small table in a quiet meeting room, a cup of hospital coffee cooling between her hands. The door opened. Leo walked in. Her breath stopped. He wore the same clothes from the warehouse, but cleaner. No blood, no dust. His wrists were free. There was a faint red line where the cuffs had been. 2 men in suits stood in the hall behind him, talking with Sloane. Federal, Emma guessed. Their eyes were too sharp. Leo closed the door behind him. For a second, neither of them spoke. Then Emma stood so fast the chair legs scraped the floor. "You're okay," she breathed. "Mostly," he said. She crossed the space between them and stopped just short of touching him. "You shouldn't be here," she said. "Aren't you supposed to be in, I don't know, an interrogation room?" "Already did that part," he said. "They wanted to see how much I was willing to give them. I showed them just enough." "Enough?" she repeated. "Enough for what?" "To make a deal," he said simply. Her heart kicked. "What kind of deal?" "The kind where I help them bury Kane," Leo said, "and they decide I'm more useful limited than locked in a hole forever." Emma swallowed. "So you're free?" "Not completely," he said. "My movements will be watched. Some of my operations are gone. Some people I've worked with won't be seeing daylight for a while. But I'm not in a cell. Not yet, anyway." "Not yet?" she echoed. He shrugged one shoulder. "They could still change their minds if I screw up, or if they decide they want a bigger trophy for the news." She hated how casually he said it. "Does this bother you?" he asked quietly. "My deal. My world." She laughed a little, the sound thin. "Everything about this bothers me, but not the way you think." "How then?" he asked. "I hate that you had to choose between keeping your world and keeping me alive," she said. "I hate that both things were even in the same equation. I hate that you're so willing to sacrifice yourself like it's nothing." His eyes softened. "It's not nothing," he said, "but it's the only version I could live with." Silence stretched for a moment. "I heard what you told Kane," she said finally, "that you'd burn his half of the city for me." "It wasn't a line," he said. "I know," she replied. "That's what scares me." He stepped closer, slow enough that she could step back if she wanted. She didn't. "You're allowed to be scared of me," he said. "You're allowed to walk away. No deals, no pressure. You get placed somewhere safe, you start over. You forget my name if that helps you sleep." "Can you forget mine?" she asked quietly. His jaw clenched. "No." "Then don't ask me to forget yours," she said. He let out a breath that sounded almost like relief. She reached up without thinking and touched the red mark on his wrist. "Did they hurt you?" she asked. "Not like that," he said. "They threatened. They pushed. They tried to see where I'd bend. I didn't give them everything, just what they needed for Kane." "And what about you?" she asked. "What happens now?" "Now they start taking apart his accounts," Leo said. "They seize assets. They drag men like him into court. It won't be quick, but it will hurt him." "And you?" she insisted. He hesitated for the first time. "I'll lose ground," he said. "Territory, some power. I won't be the man everyone avoids anymore. Some will try to test me, thinking I went soft." "Did you?" she asked. He looked at her like the question cut deeper than any bullet. "No," he said quietly. "I just picked a side." Her chest ached. "Where do I fit in that?" she asked. "In the part I don't negotiate," he said. "I gave them my records, my leverage. I didn't give them you." She blinked. "What does that mean?" "It means," he said, "your name is nowhere in the files they got. Your father's is, Kane's is, mine is, not yours." "But I was part of this," she said. "Travis, Kane, the kidnapping, the warehouse." "In the criminal charges, yes," Leo said. "In the deeper parts, no. I won't have your life tied to this paper trail forever." Emma looked down at his hand. Big, scarred, steady. I don't know what my life is now, she whispered. New, he said. Different. Safer, if I have anything to say about it. The detective said I can't go back to my apartment, she said. He said some of Kane's people will slip through. That I'll have to move. Start over somewhere else. Yes, Leo said. I've already been talking to Marcus about that. She looked up sharply. About what? A place, he said. Farther out. Smaller. Easier to guard without looking like a fortress. New job options. New neighbors who don't know anything about this city's lines. You're planning my life again, she said, half exasperated, half something else. I'm planning your safety, he corrected. You get the final say on the rest. She searched his face. And where are you in this plan? He didn't look away. On the edges, he said. For a while. Close enough to intervene if Kane's leftovers come sniffing. Far enough not to drag you into every conversation with a badge. So you're letting me go? She asked. No, he said. I'm letting you breathe. The answer hit something deep inside her. I don't want to never see you, she said quietly. I don't care if it's complicated. I just need to know this isn't goodbye. It's not, he said. It might be space, it might be time, but it's not goodbye. A knock sounded on the door. Detective Sloan poked his head in. Time's about up. Federal guys are twitchy when they don't control the schedule. Leo smirked. They'll learn. Sloan gave him a flat look, then turned to Emma. Social worker is waiting, Ms. Parker, he said. We've lined up a temporary relocation program. You won't be alone. We'll go over details. Emma nodded, throat tight. Okay. Sloan glanced between them and sighed like he was stepping into something he didn't want to touch. For what it's worth, he said, looking at Leo. Your choice with that folder. That saved lives. I don't say that lightly. Leo's expression didn't change much, but Emma saw something flicker there. Don't make me regret it, Sloan added. I won't, Leo said. Sloan disappeared again, leaving the door half open. Emma and Leo were alone for a few more seconds. He took them. He reached out and gently tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear, fingers brushing her cheek. You're stronger than you think, he said. You kept your head in that warehouse. You didn't break when Travis had a gun to it. Remember that when this all feels bigger than you. It is bigger than me, she said. Then let me carry the heavy parts, he replied. Her eyes stung. You already are, she whispered. He lowered his hand slowly. When they move you, he said, you'll get a new number. Use it when you're ready, not before. If you want silence, I'll give you silence. If you want me there, say the word. And if the feds don't like it, she asked. His mouth curved in a faint, dangerous smile. They're getting Kane. They can live with not getting every piece of me. Emma let out a shaky breath. I'm scared, she admitted. I know, he said. Do it scared anyway. That's how you win. She didn't know if she leaned in first or if he did. All she knew was that suddenly his forehead rested against hers for a second, his breath warm, his voice a low murmur. You're not just something I saved on a bridge, he said. You're the line I won't cross for anyone. Her chest felt too full. He stepped back before she could completely break. Go with Sloan, he said. Get out of this hospital, out of this city. Start something that's yours. You'll find me? She asked. He nodded once. If you want me to. She gave him the only answer she could. I will. He let her go then. Literally. Physically. She walked past him toward the door, blanket still around her shoulders, hospital bracelet still on her wrist. At the doorway, she turned back one last time. He stood where she left him, hands in his pockets, watching. Their eyes met. No promises, no guarantees. Just a shared truth. Whatever came next, they were both already too far in to pretend this was over. Emma followed Sloan down the hall toward a future she didn't recognize. Behind her, Leo Conti walked back toward a room full of federal agents and prosecutors, ready to trade pieces of his empire for one thing he had never thought he'd fight for, a chance at a different life. For him and for her. 3 months, 91 days. It felt like a lifetime and a blink at the same time. Emma Parker stood in the small kitchen of her new apartment, staring at the mug of coffee warming her hands. Morning sunlight filtered through the blinds of a quiet street far from the city she once called home. Far from the bridge, far from the penthouse, far from the warehouse, far from Leo Conti. It was safer here, according to Detective Sloan, and according to everyone in the witness relocation team who insisted she keep a low profile until Kane's remaining men were rounded up or forced into hiding. And it was quiet. Nothing dramatic happened here. Neighbors waved politely. The building super was a grandmother who watered plants at 5 in the morning. The loudest thing on this street was a teenager practicing drums at 4 p.m. safety. But safety didn't feel like home. Emma tried to tell herself she was okay, that she was healing, that distance was good. Some days she believed it, most days she didn't. She set the mug down and rubbed her forehead. The dream she'd had last night lingered. Kane's cold stare, Travis's voice, Leo walking into the warehouse like he wasn't afraid to die. Leo. She pressed her palms to the counter, fighting the weight pressing into her chest. The relocation program had given her a new phone, a new number, a new address, a new life. But one thing hadn't changed. Every night before sleep she checked her messages. Every night the same thing. Nothing from him. Not because he didn't want to contact her, but because she hadn't given him her number yet. Her rules, her pace, her choice. He respected it. He always said he would. The apartment was small, 1 bedroom, small kitchen, tiny balcony, but clean. She'd managed to get a job at a local bookstore after a quiet reference call from Detective Sloan. She's reliable. Hire her. The elderly owner, Mrs. Green, didn't ask questions, didn't push, and didn't seem to care that Emma sometimes froze when a customer raised their voice. Life looked normal from the outside, but Emma felt like a puzzle someone rearranged and put in a new box. She picked up her bag and checked the time. If she didn't leave in 5 minutes, she'd miss the bus. Just as she reached for her keys, someone knocked on the door. Her stomach dropped. Not many people knew she lived here. Sloan, the social worker, the program coordinator, and Emma swallowed. She stepped quietly to the door. "Who is it?" she called, voice steady but alert. "It's Marcus." Her heart jumped. She unlocked the door and pulled it open. Marcus stood in the hallway. Same buzzed hair, same muscular build, same serious expression. But this time, he wasn't wearing the leather jacket or the intimidating presence of someone working in Leo Conti's world. He looked relaxed. Almost. Emma exhaled shakily. "Marcus, is everything okay? Is Leo?" "He's fine," Marcus said quickly, hands raised. "Nothing's wrong." Relief hit so hard her knees nearly gave out. Marcus leaned against the doorframe. "Can I come in?" "Of course," she said, stepping aside. He walked in and glanced around, nodding in approval. "Nice place. Better than the old one. Less murder bridge energy." She let out a small laugh despite herself. "It's quiet." "That's the point," Marcus said. "Quiet means alive." She sat on the edge of the couch. Marcus took the chair across from her. "What brings you here?" she asked softly. He rubbed the back of his neck. "Updates." "And something else." Emma's heartbeat sped up. "Is it about Kane?" she asked. "Partly," Marcus said. "There's news." She braced herself. "Tell me." "Kane's operation is almost gone," Marcus said. "Your father's files did more damage than anyone expected. The feds arrested 6 high-ranking guys last week. The rest are either running or negotiating deals." Emma exhaled. "So it's ending." "For them, yes," Marcus said. "For you, almost." "Almost?" she repeated. Marcus nodded. 2 of Kane's men slipped through the cracks after the warehouse raid. They're not high level, but they're stupid enough to cause trouble. Once they're picked up or disappear, you'll be cleared to make decisions again." "What kind of decisions?" He gave her a knowing look. "You know which kind." She did. Her chest tightened. Marcus watched her carefully. "He hasn't reached out." "You know that, right?" She nodded. "He promised he wouldn't until I said he could." "And you haven't said it." Marcus added. Emma looked down at her hands. I just needed space. Time to breathe. Time to feel like I'm not being hunted. Time to know who I am without chaos. Marcus nodded slowly. Makes sense. They sat in silence for a few moments. Then Marcus said, He thinks about you every damn day. Emma's breath caught. You talk to him? Marcus scoffed. I see him more than I see my own mother. He left the city for a while. Laid low while the detectives and the feds sorted the deal. But he checks in, always asking the same question. Emma swallowed hard. What question? If you're okay. Her throat tightened. Marcus continued. He pretends it's casual, like he's just checking on the case. But he's not subtle. At all. Emma closed her eyes. Marcus leaned forward, elbows on his knees. You should know something, Emma. Leo lost pieces of his life for this. People he trusted turned on him. He cut ties. He burned bridges. He made enemies by choosing you. And he'd do it again. Her eyes stung. I never asked him to choose me. You didn't have to, Marcus said. He did it on his own. Emma nodded slowly, wiping her cheek. Marcus studied her for a moment. Look, I'm not here to push you, but he asked me to deliver a message. Emma's breath hitched. A message? Marcus reached into his jacket and pulled out a small envelope. No name on it, no markings, just a plain folded piece of thick paper. Emma hesitated before taking it. Her fingers trembled slightly as she opened the flap. Inside was a single line in Leo's handwriting. I'm still where I said I'd be. Come find me when you're ready. Her heart clenched at the sight of it. Marcus stood. He meant every word. Emma stared at the note. Where is he? She whispered. Not far, Marcus said. Same city, different side. He bought a place quiet enough for you to breathe, but close enough to help if you call. Asked me to tell you only when it was safe. Her pulse raced. Do I go to him? She asked, voice barely audible. Marcus shrugged. That part's your call. Nobody decides that for you. But I will say this. He hasn't been the same since that night at the warehouse. He's calmer and angrier at the same time, like he's living two lives and only one of them has air. Emma let out a shaky breath. I miss him. I know, Marcus said. Silence settled again. When can I see him? She asked finally. Marcus smiled slightly. That depends. You still got that new phone they gave you? She nodded. Then it's simple, he said. Text him. Her throat tightened. What do I say? Whatever you want, Marcus said, heading for the door. He's not waiting for perfect words. He's just waiting for you. She stood as he opened the door. Marcus? She called softly. He looked back. Is he happy? She asked. Marcus paused. No, he said. Not without you. Then he was gone. Emma sat on the couch for a long time, holding Leo's note in her hands. 3 months apart, 3 months healing, 3 months pretending she didn't check her phone every night. She reached for the device on the coffee table. Her fingers hovered over the screen. If she texted him, everything changed. If she didn't, she'd never stop wondering. She drew a breath, typed one line. Her hand trembled as she hit send. Emma. Hi. She stared at it. 5 seconds, 10, 15. Then her phone vibrated. One new message from Leo. Leo, tell me where you are. Her breath left her body in one long exhale. Before she could reply, another message appeared. Leo, I'm already on my way. Her heart pounded. She stood up, walked to the mirror, smoothed her hair, wiped her eyes, checked her reflection again. Then she stopped. Because she didn't need to look perfect. She just needed to breathe. A distant engine outside made her jump. Tires slowing. A car door closing. Footsteps climbing her building's stairs. Steady, familiar, closer, closer. Then, a knock. Not tentative, not aggressive, just solid, certain. Emma stared at the door and felt her heart crack wide open. She took a breath and reached for the handle. Emma's hand shook on the doorknob. For a second, she just stood there, forehead almost against the wood, feeling her heartbeat in her throat. Then she turned it. The door opened. Leo stood in the hallway. No suit, no heavy coat. Just a dark sweater that fit broad shoulders and jeans that looked worn in, not expensive. His hair was a little longer. There was a faint scar near his temple she didn't remember. But his eyes, the same deep green, locked on her like nothing else existed. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "You're really here," she whispered. "I told you I would be," he said quietly. "You texted. I moved." The corner of her mouth twitched. "You didn't even ask if it was a butt dial." He huffed a small breath that almost counted as a laugh. "You don't butt dial me after 3 months." They just looked at each other. Every night she'd wondered how this would feel. It felt like this. Terrifying. Overwhelming. Right? "You look different," he said, eyes running over her face, her hair, the soft sweater, the worn jeans. "Good different." "I sleep now," she said. "Most nights." His jaw relaxed a little. "That's something." She stepped back. "Do you want to come in?" "Yeah," he said. "If you're sure." "I wouldn't have opened the door if I wasn't," she said. He entered, moving carefully, like he didn't want to take up too much space in her new life. The apartment suddenly felt smaller with him in it. Not cramped. Full. He looked around once. "You've been busy." "It's not much," she said. "But it's mine. The bookstore's 5 blocks away. Mrs. Green lets me rearrange the displays. I'm pretty sure that's her version of love." He smiled, brief but real. "You deserve quiet." Emma closed the door and leaned back against it, fingers still wrapped around the knob like a last anchor. "So," she said, "are we going to stand in the doorway for the next hour, or—" He turned fully toward her. The distance between them was only a few feet. It felt like a mile, and no space at all at the same time. "I didn't want to touch you unless you were sure," he said simply. She swallowed. "I texted you. I opened the door. I haven't changed my mind in 3 months." He let out a breath, and some of the tension in his shoulders finally eased. "Okay," he said. He crossed the distance slowly, giving her every chance to step away. She didn't. When he stopped in front of her, close enough for his warmth to reach her, she looked up at him and blurted the first thing that truly mattered. "Are you safe?" He blinked. "That's your first question?" "It's the only one that's been eating me alive," she said. "You made a deal. You gave them cane. You cut things, burned things. I keep thinking, what if they changed their minds? What if someone came after you for helping them? What if—" "Emma," he said softly. He reached up, his palm cupping her cheek, thumb brushing the spot that had once held a bruise. "I'm here," he said. "Not in a cell, not in a morgue. Watching you talk too fast, that's the answer." Her eyes burned. "Tell me the rest anyway." He hesitated, then nodded. "The feds got what they wanted," he said. "Kane's accounts, his network, his dirty cops. They're still pulling it apart. But he's done. Locked up waiting for trial, and he's not talking his way out of this one." "And you?" she asked. "I lost a lot," he said. "On purpose. I cut ties with men who would have pulled me back under. I handed over parts of my business that were poison. What I've got left is small, cleaner. Boring, if you ask Marcus." "Legal?" she asked. "Legal enough that if someone checks, I don't end up in handcuffs," he said. "I still owe them cooperation for a while. Meetings, testimony. But the part of my life that made headlines, it's already dying." "You did that for them?" she asked. He shook his head. "No. I did it because once you walked into my world, I had to decide if I wanted you to stay there, or if I wanted to build something you could stand in without flinching." Her throat closed. "You don't owe me a new life," she whispered. "I know," he said. "I owe myself one. You just gave me a reason to actually do it." Tears blurred her vision. "That night," she said, "in the warehouse, when Kane said you loved me, he was trying to use it," Leo cut in. To make me weak. He was wrong, she said. It didn't make you weak. It made you walk in with a case full of dynamite for him. He huffed another almost laugh. You have a dramatic way of putting things. You have a dramatic way of saving small bookstore girls on bridges, she shot back. He smiled then, really smiled. It softened his whole face. I missed you, he said quietly. Her chest clenched. You're not supposed to say it first. Why? He asked. Because then I have to say it back, she said, voice wobbling. And I was trying very hard not to cry in front of you in the first 5 minutes. Too late, he murmured. Tears spilled over, and she laughed weakly. I missed you too. Every stupid day. His thumb caught a tear before it fell. Good, he said. Would have been depressing if I was the only one. Silence settled, but it wasn't empty. It felt like a held breath. She stepped in closer, her hands lifting almost on their own to his chest. His heart beat steady under her palms. I need to hear you say it, she whispered. Plain. No games. He looked down at her like he'd been holding the words back for months. Emma Parker, he said quietly. I'm in love with you. Her breath hitched. I tried to tell myself it was just guilt or responsibility or the rush of saving someone, he went on. But 3 months without you, and I still wake up looking for you in a room you've never been in. That's not guilt. That's not responsibility. That's just you, under my skin, and I'm done pretending otherwise. She let out a sound that was half sob, half laugh. Say it again, she whispered. I'm in love with you, he repeated, firmer this time. She closed her eyes, pulled herself together as much as she could, and answered, I'm in love with you too. His eyes shut for a second, like the words hit harder than any punch he'd ever taken. Careful, he said, voice rough. I might never leave now. Good, she said. I'm tired of doors closing behind you. He leaned his forehead against hers. You sure? He asked. You know what comes with this. My name doesn't just wash off. There will be people who judge you for choosing me. People who wait for me to slip. The cops will keep tabs on me for a while. I can keep you out of most of it, but not all. I know, she said. And I'm still here. I've had 3 months to run. I didn't. He exhaled. Then I need to be clear too, he said. I'm not asking you to come back to the old world. I'm not dragging you into club meetings or backroom deals. If you choose me, you're choosing this version of me. The one who will walk away from anything that puts you back in a chair like that warehouse. I won't be perfect, but I will not let you be used as leverage again, by anyone. She smiled through the tears. Even if that means letting go of what's left of your throne. He shook his head. I'd rather have your couch. She glanced over his shoulder at her tiny, slightly lumpy sofa. You're really trading an empire for that. He looked back at her. For you sitting on it? Yeah. She launched herself at him then, arms going around his neck, catching him off guard for half a second before his arms locked around her waist, pulling her in hard. She buried her face in his shoulder and finally let herself cry the way she hadn't in months. Deep, shaking sobs that tore out all the fear, the guilt, the what-ifs. He just held her. One hand cradled the back of her head, the other stayed firm at her lower back, steady as a wall. I've got you, he murmured. I've got you. It's over. He can't touch you again. I thought I'd never see you, she choked out. I kept thinking maybe you decided it wasn't worth it, that I wasn't worth it, that... Stop, he said softly, pulling back just enough to tilt her chin up. Don't ever say that again. You were the only thing that was worth it. She sniffed, wiping her cheeks with the back of her hand. You're going to make me cry forever if you keep talking like that. Then I'll buy more tissues, he said. She laughed again, weak but real. His gaze dropped to her mouth. Can I... he started. She didn't let him finish. She kissed him. It wasn't tentative. It wasn't careful. Months of fear and longing and unsent messages crashed together as her mouth met his. He made a low sound in his chest and kissed her back like a man who'd been starving in slow motion. One hand cupped her face, the other pulled her flush against him. The world outside her little apartment fell away. When they finally broke apart, breathing hard, she rested her forehead against his again. "So," she whispered, lips brushing his, "what happens now?" "Now you show me your favorite coffee mug," he said, voice still rough. "And the bookstore you won't shut up about, and the spot you like to read on that couch I gave up an empire for. And then, tomorrow or the next day or whenever you're ready, we sit down and figure out what our life looks like. Not mine, not yours, ours." Her chest warmed in a way that felt brand new and familiar all at once. "You're really staying?" she asked. He nodded. "I'll go back into the city for meetings when I have to, but this?" He looked around. "This is home now if you want it, with me in it." "And if I panic?" she asked. "If I wake up with a nightmare and tell you I can't do this?" "Then we stop," he said. "We slow down. We change whatever we need to change. You don't owe me a version of yourself that hurts just to keep me comfortable. I'll adjust." Her eyes filled again. "When did you get so good at this?" He smirked. "You make me practice honesty. It's annoying." She smiled. "Get used to it." He squeezed her waist once, then stepped back a little. "Show me," he said. "Show you what?" she asked. "Your life," he said simply. "The one you built without me. I want to know it before I try to fit into it." She took his hand. "Come on then," she said. "But don't judge my dishes." They walked through the tiny apartment together. Kitchen, cramped bedroom, narrow balcony with one plastic chair and a dying plant. He touched nothing, but looked at everything like it mattered. When they reached the balcony, she stepped out and leaned on the railing, looking at the quiet street. He came to stand beside her, close enough for their shoulders to brush. "No ocean," he said. "On purpose?" she replied. "I wanted to be as far from bridges and harbor rails as possible for a while." He nodded. "Makes sense." She glanced up at him. "Do you miss it? The city lights? The view from your penthouse?" He shook his head. "I miss you in front of them, not the glass and concrete." Her heart flipped. "Maybe one day," she said slowly, "we'll go back just to visit. Not to hide, not to run, just to look. Only if you don't have that look in your eyes again," he said. "The one you had on the bridge." She turned to face him fully. "I won't," she said. "You pulled me back. I'm not going over any more edges." He reached up and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear again, a habit she already knew she'd never get tired of. "Neither am I," he said. "Not without you holding on to me this time." She slid her arms around his waist, resting her cheek against his chest. His heartbeat was steady and warm under her ear. Cars passed below. Somewhere a dog barked. A neighbor's TV played a game show too loud. Normal sounds. Safe sounds. Emma held him tighter. This wasn't the life she'd imagined when she'd gotten coffee with her boyfriend months ago and walked across a bridge thinking about rent and late shifts. It was messier, scarier, bigger. It was also hers. "Leo?" she murmured. "Yeah? If we ever have kids," she said. "We are absolutely not telling them we met because my ex almost threw me off a bridge and a Mafia boss beat him up." He laughed, really laughed, for the first time since he'd walked in. "We'll say we met at a bookstore," he said, "arguing about which shelf a title belonged on." "That's boring," she said. "Good," he replied. "Boring sounds nice for once." She smiled into his sweater. "Okay," she said. "Bookstore story it is." They stayed like that on the balcony until the light started to fade and the air turned cooler. Later, they'd talk about logistics, about schedules, about what he still owed the government and what she needed from him to feel safe. Later, they'd fight and make up and learn each other in new ways that had nothing to do with guns or deals or rescue. Later, they'd build something that didn't look like anyone else's version of normal, but felt right to them. For now, it was enough that he was here, alive, holding her in a quiet street where nothing bad was happening. He had pulled her back from the edge. And now finally she was choosing to stand beside him, not as collateral, not as leverage, but as the woman he loved, in the life they were building together, a life they were both willing to fight for, not with bullets and threats, but with choices. Every day. Every ordinary, beautiful, hard, safe day after this one. If you enjoy stories like this, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. That's how I'll know you truly liked it. Even if you're watching on your TV, grab a second to join this family of fans who love emotional and heartfelt stories. Your support means everything, and it helps us bring you even more tales like this one.